In June of 2022, my wife and I celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary with a week-long RV tour through the beautiful state of Pennsylvania. In this video, we will be camping overnight at 5 different state park campgrounds: Laural Hill, French Creek, Hickory Run, Ricketts Glen, and Cook Forest State Park campgrounds.
Are you ready to go to the next campground? Okay, Tassie, let's go.
Due to our late start from home, we didn't have any time to explore Laural Hill State Park. It was basically just a nice place to crash for the night before heading out to our next destination. Some of the places that we will be visiting in this video include the Mutter Museum in Philadelphia, Longwood Gardens, the Hickory Run Boulder Field, the Ricketts Glen Falls Trail, the historic town of Jim Thorpe, the Pennsylvania Lumber Museum, and the famous Kinzua Bridge. After leaving Laural Hill State Park, we made the 4-hour drive to Longwood Gardens, about an hour outside of Philadelphia. These gardens consist of over 1,000 acres of gardens, woodlands, meadows, and conservatory. It was a pretty amazing place and well worth a visit if you were ever in the Philadelphia area. We got a waterfall here in Longwood Gardens. Wow, that is beautiful. Lookout Loft Treehouse. Man, this would be really cool to have something like this in your woods growing up. So we keep hearing these annoying instruments being played, but now he just started playing U2 with the electric guitar. Yeah, trying to play U2. After our visit to Longwood Gardens, we set up camp for the night at nearby French Creek State Park to enjoy the final hours of day 2, relaxing around the campfire. On the morning of day 3, we made the 1-hour drive to downtown Philadelphia to visit the Mutter Museum of Medical Oddities. No photography or video were allowed inside the museum. All right, we are finished up here at French Creek State Park. As soon as I finish dumping, we are hitting the road, heading to Ricketts Glen State Park. Actually, on our way to Ricketts Glen State Park, we are making 2 quick stops. One at the small historical town of Jim Thorpe, and also at the Hickory Run Boulder Fields. Always wanted to stop and take a look at that. So that's where we're heading to next. It's been fun, French Creek State Park. All right, it's been a slight change of plans. By the time we stop and visit the Boulder Field at Hickory Run State Park, and a quick stop at Jim Thorpe, and then drive another hour and a half or 2 hours, whatever it was, beyond that to Ricketts Glen State Park, it was gonna put us there like at 6 p.m. It's already 3:30 right now. So I discovered that there's a state park campground at Hickory Run State Park. So I called Ricketts Glen, moved my reservation to tomorrow night, and tonight there are 20 electrical sites available to choose from at Hickory Run State Park Campground. So we are only a half hour away from it. We're gonna go unhook our camper, get set up, and then go visit the Boulder Field, and then go eat supper at Jim Thorpe instead of just rushing in and out. So when we arrived to French Creek State Park yesterday, we had our very first mishap of our camping trip. We opened up the camper and noticed the floor looked a little bit wet. And then I noticed that our table, our dinette table that we usually flip upside down and slide between the little bench seating that we have in our camper, was still upside right. And all the silverware and anything we had on top of the table was all over the floor. And then it dawned on me that we forgot to properly prep that for travel after our first night stay. So I went back and told my wife, you aren't going to be happy when you see what this looks like inside the camper. And then I proceeded to take our dog out to go potty, and then I came back in to see if she needed any help cleaning it up. So what happened is our gallon of apple juice in the refrigerator had somehow tipped over, which is not uncommon. I've seen jugs of juice and tea or milk or whatever tip over in the refrigerator, because we were on this state route, just up and down and back and forth, hitting some potholes. It was a crazy drive.
Take exit 87 for Pennsylvania 903 toward Jim Thorpe, Lake Harmony.
Ooh, almost a Jim Thorpe. So this apple juice not only tipped over, it cracked. The container cracked and all the juice was out and it was all over the floor. But I kid you not, it looked as if 5 gallons of apple juice was poured all over our camper floor. I don't know how that 1 gallon made such a mess. It was horrible. I mean, the entire floor had to be wiped up first, then mopped up. It crept underneath the cabinets and cupboards and doors. Anywhere juice could go, it found its way there. And the carpet was wet with juice. And it's still sticky. Even after all of that, there is still stickiness on our kitchen floor. So my wife was ready to just pack up and call it a trip, but we got it all cleaned up. We're still having a good time, but yeah, that was not a fun way to start off our second night of camping. All right, we just arrived at Hickory Run State Park. Let's go pick out a campsite. All right, we're here at Hickory Run State Park Visitor Center. Gonna take a little walk down here and find out which loop has the 20 electric sites available to choose from. It is just an absolutely gorgeous day. 4 o'clock, about 79 degrees. Beautiful. All right, let's go find us a campsite. Site 189 in the pet loop. I really like this campsite. It is site number 189 in the pet loop. It's perfect. And it has its own little trail. A little hiking trail right off the back. It goes down this really steep hill up ahead here. And as you can see all around me, the mountain laurel are in full bloom. Look at that. I'm pretty sure those are mountain laurel in bloom. It's like a forest of purple we noticed when we were driving into the Hickory Run State Park area. One of the top 5 sites, I would say, here in the pet loop, which are sites 165 through 235 or something like that. Are you enjoying this site, Tessie? I can see you're all wrapped up already. Good grief. Well, this is night number 3 on our PA RV tour, and we have yet to encounter any mosquitoes. Hopefully the same holds true for tonight. Like a 10th jet that's flown over. Boy, that's good. Making our way to the Hickory Run Boulder Field. And we have left the asphalt and now we're on this single lane gravel forest road for the next 2.5 miles. It's a beautiful drive. All right, we made it here to the Boulder Field parking area. As you can see, only one other person here, so we're gonna have a whole place to ourselves. It is Tuesday at 9 a.m. The perfect time to visit the Hickory Run State Park Boulder Field. Tassie's enjoying herself. You ready to go see the Boulder Field? Let's go. Okay, I was mistaken. There is one other vehicle here and closer parking right next to the Boulder Field. This is so weird to finally see this in person. That is incredible. Oh my goodness. Little sign here. Wow. What in the world? All right, we're making our way out into the Boulder Field. This is amazing. And you gotta watch your step or you'll twist an ankle. Wow. It's really not that big of an area. I forget how many acres it is. I'll throw it up on the screen. I mean, I'm guessing it's like 10 or 15 acres. And since my dog can't really walk on this, I'm carrying her out here. Hey, Tassie, do you want to try to walk on the boulders? Do you think you can do it? All right, I'll put you down and see if you can make it. Can you do it? Come on, Tass. Can you make it? It's not very easy, is it? Her feet are pretty slippery with all the hair on her paws. Yeah. Here, I'll carry you, Tassie. Hold on. Stay. Hey, come here. All right, I handed off the dog to my wife, and I'm going to venture out here into the Boulder Field a bit further. I've seen this place for years on other videos on the internet, and I've always wanted to come here and check this out, so it feels really cool to finally be here in person. Here's that hole that I've seen on other videos. It's about 4 foot deep. I don't know if someone dug down trying to find the bottom or what, but I'm guessing it goes pretty deep. Pretty cool. I'm not going to waste too much time here. I mean, once you've seen it, you've seen it. There's a young family taking their little kiddos out there. It can be a dangerous place if you're not being careful. Easy to twist an ankle. Well, that Boulder Field was really cool. I don't know if Tassie really liked it. What do you think, Tassie? I will never forget that I experienced the Pennsylvania Boulder Field on our 25th wedding anniversary. We are now making our way out of Hickory Run State Park, working our way down towards the small historic town of Jim Thorpe. We got a baby fawn running in front of the truck right there. Can you guys see it? Wonder why it won't get off the trail. Oh. Yeah. Well, we're making our way into the town of Jim Thorpe. And for those of you who don't know where or what Jim Thorpe is, or why a town is named after a man's name, Jim Thorpe was an Olympian, a medalist, and a pro athlete, and he was Native American. He was born in the late 1800s, I think 1880s, and died in 1953 at the age of 65. He was married 3 times and he had 8 children. And I believe it was his second or third wife that may have been from this area. And she convinced these 2 struggling towns. One was Ma Chunk, crazy name. I don't know the name of the other town. She convinced them to join forces and rename their town Jim Thorpe. It was after his death, the year after his death. So that's the short of it. There's a whole lot of history behind all that I'm skipping over, but just want to give you the quick rundown of what Jim Thorpe is. It has become a very popular small historical town here in PA with many visitors every year, and I'm really looking forward to checking it out. All right, we have arrived here in Jim Thorpe, and it is kind of built down in a big valley. All right, now we are entering the cute little historical area here where the train is right along the Lehigh River. And it's busy down here. We just passed probably 100 cars on the left along the river tracks. Wow, this is a pretty little town. I did not expect it to be this busy today. But I haven't seen one place to park yet. And this is a Tuesday at 10 a.m. What in the world? Well, we circled around the entire little town and making our way back down here into the city, to the city square where all the shops are. Welcome to Jim Thorpe, Tassie. We got the only dog-friendly table at Molly McGuire's. Aren't you happy about that? All right, we got the pastrami Reuben. Pierogies with onions and sour cream. And we also had French onion soup as an appetizer, but I forgot to film it. Yeah. Getting ready to cross the Lehigh River. Oh boy, there's a whole bunch of raptors coming down the river. So this is the river that we've been seeing all the buses for. The Lehigh River. Looks like a pretty lazy float to me. Looks like they have some little class 1s up ahead here. There she goes. And now we can cross again. Well, our dog has had plenty of Jim Thorpe, and she is ready to head back to Hickory Run State Park and get hooked up and make our way to Ricketts Glen State Park. We are making our way out of Hickory Run State Park. Ready to make our way to Ricketts Glen. On the move again to State Park number 4 here in Pennsylvania. I never saw a thing. Well, we just missed some bears, doggone it. Finally arrived here to Ricketts Glen. Let's go check in and go get set up at camp. All right, we have arrived here at Ricketts Glen and we have struck gold again with a beauty of a campsite. I mean, it is perfect. I kid you not. It is one of the best we've seen here at Ricketts Glen already. Site number 75. Check this out. Look at it. Look at the hammock hanging trees back here. Wow, what a beauty. Just about perfectly level. We are sloped just a little bit there, but not bad. Time to get a fire started and then make our way to the Falls Trail. Here we go, entering the Falls Trail. Really excited to finally see this. This is almost as good as a waterfall to me. All right, we're approaching Mohawk Falls, the very first one here on the Falls Trail. It is a 37-foot waterfall. It's kind of a multi-tiered. This is pretty rugged stuff, folks. There's a nice look at Mohawk Falls. This is Oneida Falls at 13 feet. Here we are at our next waterfall, the 11-foot Cayuga Falls. This is a big one. This is Ganaga Falls, 94 feet. I believe this is the 12-foot Seneca Falls. Now I'm losing track of my waterfalls. I don't know if that's a 12-foot Seneca Falls or if they consider this the 37-foot Delaware Falls. I'm guessing this is Delaware Falls. I believe that other big waterfall back there was Mohican. I believe this is the 37-foot Conestoga Falls. Two-tiered. There's another little tier down there. I believe the last waterfall we just saw was the 47-foot Tuscarora. And I think we have another 47-footer coming up here shortly called Erie. Wow, that's a beauty. What do you think of all this? Pretty amazing, isn't it? You're doing good. Woo, another beauty. All right, this is the final waterfall of the day, Murray Reynolds Waterfall. Be careful. Be careful. You don't want to fall down there, Cassie. All right, let's make our way back. Let's go catch up with Mommy. You think we can get her? Let's go get her. Need a drink? Oh, that scare you? All right, we just completed our Ricketts Glen Falls Trail hike, and boy, was it amazing. So glad we took the time to do that. Tassie enjoyed it. My wife enjoyed it. It was definitely difficult, but I highly recommend it. In ways, it was similar to Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen is probably more beautiful, but this was way more strenuous and way more waterfalls, obviously. So I wanted to explain real quick how we landed here at Site 75 with electric. I originally had Site 106, which is behind us, maybe 100 yards right on the road. It was a terrible site. I thought it looked good online when I booked this trip with the stop at Ricketts Glen like 3 months ago probably. And all the electric sites and full service sites were booked solid. This is a busy campground, very popular campground. So yesterday, when we decided to stop at Hickory Run State Park, it was supposed to be our night here. So I called here to move our stay one night ahead to tonight. And I thought I would ask her, you know, is there any electric sites available? And she said, you wouldn't believe it. There was a group of campers that came in that booked a long time ago as a large camping group, and with a block all together in this section, and one of them had to cancel, and Site 75 was available. I was like, I think we'll take it. Is it a good site? You know, I booked a sight unseen, and she said, yeah, it's just as good as 106, if not better. It's a lot better, believe me. This site is spectacular, and from a quick drive we made around this loop, I would say it's top 3 in the whole area of this whole section of the campground. So once again, we struck gold when it comes to getting a great campsite, and I couldn't be happier. So anyway, we're gonna shower up after that sweaty hike down the Ricketts Glen the falls hike, and get some dinner going with a fire and relax the rest of the evening. Good morning here at Ricketts Glen State Park. It's about 8:30. We are hitting the road for almost a 4-hour drive to Cook State Forest, just south of Allegheny National Forest. Along the way, if we decide to take the northern route on State Route 6, maybe it's US Route 6, we're thinking of stopping at the Lumber Museum. I think it's just outside of Coudersport, maybe somewhere between Wellsboro and Coudersport. And then we'll be heading into the Allegheny National Forest to make our way down towards Kane and Marionville to pick up my long lost drop bag from the Allegheny 100-mile challenge. So that's our destination next. And then we'll be, after we pick up the drop bag, heading into Cook State Forest to set up camp for our final night on this whirlwind tour of RVing through Pennsylvania for our 25th wedding anniversary. Just cruising along Route 6 in north central PA currently. We just went through Wellsboro about 20 minutes ago and ate at the Wellsboro Diner. And we are actually coming up on Gailton, Pennsylvania. And then next after that will be Coudersport. Now as soon as we go through Gailton, we'll be coming up on the Susquehannock Trail. So I'm coming into familiar territory here real soon. And then right after Gailton will be the Lumber Museum. And speak of Gailton, here we are. Welcome to Gailton. We are currently in Potters County, and they call it God's Country, and I can see why. It is gorgeous and home of the Susquehannock Trail. We have arrived to the Pennsylvania Lumber Museum. Looking forward to checking this out. A lot of cool history here, I bet. So we're right here near Denton Hill, and this is part of the Susquehannock Trail right in here. Got Ole Bull State Park, Cherry Springs Fire Tower, Patterson State Park, and Lyman Run State Park is somewhere all right there. So all this area right here is the Susquehannock Trail. Well, we just finished the indoor portion, and now we're coming to get our furry friend to check out the rest of the outdoor areas. How excited is she gonna be to come out of the camper? Hi! Are you ready? Are you ready to go explore? All right, we're making our way up to the engine house, the logging camp, the mess hall, and the bunkhouse. This is the last steam-powered barn heart, which is basically just a steam-powered crane for loading the logs onto rail cars. Barnhart log loader. Wow. That's just a stable with hay storage. We got the lumber camp and the mess hall and everything up here ahead. Ooh, I like that little stove. I want a rustic log cabin with a little stove like that. The blacksmith. All right, what's this bunkhouse gonna look like? Looks more like a mess hall right here. Nicely equipped kitchen with a beautiful wood, probably coal, also burning stove.
What do you think about that, Tessie?
Unfortunately, we're running short on time, so we're not going to go visit the sawmill area down there. We have a little bit of a drive ahead of us yet to get to the Allegheny National Forest. This is a CCC cabin right here. They would first set up quick primitive camps, and then they would build nicer, more permanent style camps. Pretty cool. I could actually live in this, no problem. I love that open fireplace. I can fix this up real nice. Oh, look, it even has separate bedroom. Wow. A 2-bedroom cabin. We would make that an open fireplace. Another bedroom back here. This would be the kitchen. I really like these CCC cabins. These are pretty nice. I could turn one into home. And that was built in 1936. Alrighty, off to Allegheny National Forest.
Head southwest toward US 6 West.
Susquehannock Trail System right there. That's where it all began for me. Next stop up, Marionville, Pennsylvania. What's in Marionville, you may ask? Well, it is the home of the annual Bigfoot Festival, which took place just several weeks ago. But the reason I am stopping there is because that is the halfway point of the North Country Trail of the Allegheny National Forest section. And I left my resupply bag hanging in a tree during my Allegheny 100-mile challenge. So we got about 75 miles and hoping my bag is still hanging there in the tree. Okay, we decided to make a quick stop at the Kinzua Bridge to check out this rail line that collapsed during a tornado. So I just read a little sign about this Kinzua Bridge. In 2002, they were inspecting it and realized it had a lot of structural issues. And then a year later, it blew down in a tornado. So 2003 is when the collapse happened. Holy cow. Unbelievable. This is kind of freaky up here, to be honest with you. Whew. We are way up there. Looks like 150 feet, if I had to guess. And it's very breezy up here. So I just realized there's a trail. You can hike a whole thing. And there's a trail all the way up there. There's actually people down there right now. Very, very breezy. There's no way you can fly a drone up here. Drones are prohibited, but I wouldn't be able to fly it today anyway. It'd be gone in a heartbeat. It's like 30-mile-an-hour winds up here. That was very interesting. So glad we stopped here to check this out. The tallest and longest bridge of its time. Huh. Original construction in 1882. My goodness, I had no idea it was that old. Looks like they completed the skywalk for visitors to see in 2011. Onward to Marionville to get my resupply bag. Good dog. Did you enjoy the Kinzua Bridge? All right, we're finally here at the split of 66 and 948. Right there is the Allegheny National Forest sign, land of many uses, that I snapped a picture of me on right before I began my A100 challenge. So just up ahead here a few miles, the North Country Trail, also called the NCT, comes up near the road to a little trailhead parking area, and that's where my resupply bag is. And we are both really excited to see if this bag is still here. I mean, I have a $100 pair of shoes hanging in there, and my wife is very curious if it's really going to be here or not. I'm pretty confident that it will be here. We will see. All right, we have arrived to where I hung my resupply bag here along the North Country Trail. This is the little parking lot that we're going to pull over in temporarily while I go snag it. There it is. The old Blue Blaze. The moment of truth has arrived. Will my resupply bag still be in this here woods after 2 weeks? And I see it. It's still there. Yes. I must admit, I was a little fearful. There she is, right where I left her 2 weeks ago. All right, now that that order of business has been taken care of, back on the road for the final half hour or so drive to Cook State Forest, just south of Allegheny National Forest, to the Ridge Campground, I think it's called. And that's where we will be spending our final night here in Pennsylvania before heading home to Ohio tomorrow morning. Well, I gotta say, Cook State Forest has been beautiful. Lots of pines. Very shaded. So we're just a few miles outside the state park. Ooh, there's a deer right there on the left. That's one of those street smart Pennsylvania deer. If they had hands, they would wave. Well, here we are at the Cook State Forest Ridge Campground, just like a mile above the beautiful Clarion River that I have lots of fond memories of from kayaking. We're all set up for our final night here in Pennsylvania. Just getting the fire started here, but it's a beautiful sight. There's pines all around us, very well shaded. We did have another site picked out in the open, kind of out in the open, but with the woods behind us, and there was no one around in those sites, but it was a little windy. Back in here, we're tucked into the woods a little bit, and pretty calm. Feels good. This site is E64, for those of you who may be wondering. Very nice site. We have just been blessed with phenomenal sights during this whole whirlwind tour through Pennsylvania. And look at that. It's perfect. We got some neighbors there, but you know, there's kind of a tree blocking us. Tassie was really enjoying this site. So the only qualm I have with Pennsylvania campgrounds, at least the 5 we stayed at this week, no cell service. The first 2 had a bar or 2. You couldn't stream anything. You couldn't really get on the internet, but you could make a call and every now and then get a random text to go through. But today and yesterday, 0 service whatsoever. And it's been difficult to stay in touch with family and my workers and my employees at the farm, just to make sure everything is going okay. So fortunately, as we drove from campground to campground, we did obviously have good service when we were out on the freeway. So I was able to check in and make sure everything was okay. So I think there should be a state park initiative started to bring cellular service to every state park in every state. Ohio's pretty good for the most part. Man, Pennsylvania is terrible. And I know some people like to disconnect and not have to be worried about emails and everything else that go along with being on the internet. But for those of us who are business owners that need to stay in touch with what's going on back at home, it would be great if there was cell service in the state parks. But that'll probably never happen. At least everything's good and we're out here enjoying nature on our final night here in PA. Well, it's almost 9 o'clock. Just enjoying the last few moments of daylight on the longest day of 2023, June 21st, first day of summer. It's been a great day, and we were discussing about how this campground may be our favorite of the 5 campgrounds we stopped at. So if you're looking for a great campsite in a state park in Pennsylvania, we would highly recommend Cook State Forest Ridge Campground. It is amazing. There are some primitive sites right behind the camera that have enough room to hang 100 hammocks. I kid you not. This place is really, really nice. And we're getting 1 bar of cell service from time to time. It's a little sketchy. Most of the time there's no service, but in certain spots, 1 bar of Verizon cell service does pop up. So that's been pretty nice. Well, that's about a wrap on this trip. Maybe we'll cook something up good on the fire tomorrow, and then we'll be hitting the road, heading home to Ohio. Good morning. Let's see if we can get these deer over here. We got 2 deer right here next to our camper this morning, munching away. Cook State Forest is absolutely beautiful, but we're just about ready to exit the forest for the final time as we are working our way down towards Clarion, Pennsylvania, and then onto the freeway heading towards Ohio. We really lucked out not having to deal with any rain on this trip until right now, so it was perfect timing. Back on I-80. And the rain has definitely picked up. I'm glad we're not sitting in a campground right now. Okay, look in the camera. Alrighty folks, this is going to conclude our 6-day, 5-night, 5-state park, 1,200-mile RV tour through Pennsylvania to celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary. We had a great time, and I know our dog Tassie enjoyed herself as well. Please leave me a comment down below of what some of your favorite state parks are, and we will be sure to visit some of those on our next time through Pennsylvania. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you again real soon on our next RV adventure.